This week in our news recap, we have, as you might expect, more news regarding the RTX 3000 lineup, both unconfirmed performance numbers and some other information that is actually confirmed. We have AMD news in terms of RDNA 2 Zen 3, as well as a card that they just launched out of nowhere, as well as information about Waterblocks for Ampere. And Asus and Zotac apparently are massively cutting prices on the 2000 series in preparation for the launch. Hello there guys, TPC Guy here with the roundup of the news in tech and gaming for the week. As you can expect, it is mostly dominated by graphics cards at this point in time, with the actual official launch of Ampere RTX 3000 coming right around the corner, and rumors starting to stir about AMD's RDNA 2 architecture and all that sort of thing. So let's start with the actual confirmed news that we know from this week, before moving on to the stuff that, well, we are not quite sure if it's real or not. So for starters, we have a small and short AMD news piece. They have launched the Radeon RX 5300. It's an OEM card, so you're not going to be able to just buy it, at least not immediately. Maybe they will launch it standalone in the future, but for now it is an OEM card. It has a boost clock of 1445, which is not that huge. The memory bandwidth is also lower, 25% lower than the 5500 XT, and it is a card with 3 gigs of VRAM, so it's very much a budget slash entry product. It's OEM only anyway, so it's not something that you're going to be able to buy, but it is, well, a jab at the budget market, I suppose, if it ever launches in standalone capacity. Next up, we have a report on Tom's Hardware, amongst other news outlets, that they say that the RTX 3080 reviews have been delayed to only be, well, outlets will only be able to actually put them online, not under NDA anymore, on September 16. This is because of the whole pandemic situation. Nvidia has decided that they had requests. They said they had requests from reviewers to have more time, that they needed more time to actually get the reviews completed before the NDA is lifted, to be done properly because of logistical problems with the pandemic and all. So they have extended the NDA until September 16, which is the day before the cards officially go on launch. Gives you 1 day to check the reviews and decide if you want to click that button real quick. Availability will probably be short, mind you. These cards are going to sell like hotcakes, so if you want one, you know, immediately, you really have to jump the gun, but I would still recommend waiting for reviews. The article also mentions that the RTX 3070 will be available on October 15. We knew it was going to be October, but we were not quite sure on the actual date. Now it's confirmed that it's going to be on October 15 at least. Another confirmed good news for RTX 3000 comes from EK Waterblocks. They have confirmed that the Waterblock and that the PCB is the same. The reference design from the RTX 3080 and 3090 share the same reference design, which means that the Waterblocks will be compatible from one to the other. And it's also good to mention that there will be Waterblocks available at launch already for these cards, so if you are water cooling, you are not going to have to wait a lot longer to actually get it in your loop. Now, for those of you wanting to get a nice sale on older generation cards, in this case Turing cards, instead of going for an Ampere, there are some good news for you. Asus and Zotac have cut off their prices on a lot of their cards, starting, for example, here at this is an example from the 2080 Super from Asus. Some of the prices are cut in more than half, for example. Now, these are obviously regional sales. It's not an across-the-board thing, as far as I know. It's in some countries, not all, but you can expect companies to want to clear inventory if they can. Now, the catch is with how good the next generation is lining up to be. I wonder if you are not better off, instead of buying one of these cards, just grabbing a 3070 or 3060, and you're probably going to have as much, if not more, and better performance. But that's a whole different story that you're going to need to want to wait for reviews to actually make a decision. Time for some AMD news, which it is basically an announcement of an announcement, which is not exactly the most exciting thing in the world. They have officially declared that they are going to have an announcement to present on the 8th of October for Zen 3 related things, so we can expect some information for the CPU part then, and a presentation on RDNA 2 on the 28th of October, so at the end of that month. Now, it is kind of expected that they are going to be giving us details or launch dates or whatever for Big Navi then, and the same goes for Zen 3 on its own presentation. I am a bit skeptical. I have always been a bit skeptical that RDNA 2 would be able to compete with Ampere, at least at the highest of high ends. They might get something close to the 3080 or something, but I doubt they will surpass it, to be quite honest. And from the latest rumors, and I want to make clear that they are rumors, really, they are not confirmed, that I have heard the biggest Big Navi, so to speak, is going to be slotted somewhere around the 3070. So probably not at the high end in terms of competition. The fact that they are waiting until the end of October also means that people are probably going to be getting the Nvidia cards first, really. If they really should show something now, if they have something to show, even if it is just a reveal and not a launch, they should really be showing something and not making announcements of announcements. Zen 3, on the other hand, is something that I am excited about. I wonder what performance improvements it will bring, considering what we have been hearing over the past few months, and we'll hear about that on the 10th, I suppose. And in search for the answer for the everlasting question, can it run Doom? Now, well, apparently for a pregnancy test, that question is yes. Someone has actually made Doom play on a pregnancy test, obviously with some integrated controls for it, and they had previously made Skyrim not play, but display at least on the screen of the pregnancy test, and now they have actually made Doom playable on one. It obviously needs a keyboard input to actually control and do anything, and the screen is obviously not the highest of resolutions, but it's kind of awesome to see how far people go in challenges like this. This is the part where we go into the uncharted territories of rumored and unconfirmed stuff, so don't really take a lot of stock in all of these articles. They can be a bit inaccurate since it's all unconfirmed things, and we are starting with rumors of Big Navi's price being slashed because of RTX, and Big Navi has not even been released, so it seems like the planned price for it is already going to get reduced because of RTX's performance that we are expecting to be quite competitive, let's say, with AMD's offerings. The RTX 3080, for example, at $699 and the 3070 at $499 means that anything that AMD will want to release in that space will have to be extremely competitive price-wise. They wanted to release, according to someone who spoke with Cortex, that AMD wanted a 16GB model of their big Navi card at $599, but they will probably have to slash it to $549 after seeing what Nvidia had in stock. Next up, the first actual results from 3D Mark on the RTX 3080 apparently are leaking out. Our notorious friend Rogame, that has actually been leaking a lot of stuff from this series in the past few months, has leaked a few results and compared them to the results that other cards from Nvidia have had in the past. In this case, the RTX 3080 performance numbers, as you can see here, they are around, on average, it depends game by game, obviously, and test by test, but on average around between the 25 and 45% higher than the 2080 Ti that is, and up to 64% higher than the 2080 Super, and that's at a lower price than both of those cards. So that's really pretty crazy if these numbers match up, which I honestly can't believe they do. I had also mentioned before how it was starting to look like Big Navi was geared mostly at the 3060/3070 performance bracket, and the next article / rumor kind of lends some credence to that. Apparently Nvidia is already getting ready with Ampere super cards of the super lineup like we saw last generation to battle with big Navi when they do come to market, and they are supposed to be slotted on the 3060 Super and 3070 Super range when they do come out, and apparently also with increased memory capacity compared to the base editions. I have, since I saw the announcement, I've always maintained that especially on the 3080 range, there is a lot of room there for 3080 Super or 3080 Ti, be it with more cores or more memory capacity or whatever you name it. But there is such a price gap between the 3080 and 3090 that they can very easily slot an in-between card in there. Now the question is, how much better is the performance going to be? Is it going to be pissing off the people that bought one of the cards? Because if it's a lot better than the 3080 at a not much higher price, 3080 buyers are going to be pissed. If it's if it's almost as good as the 3090 and the price is low, then the 3090 owners are going to be pissed, and the people that wanted something in between from the start, from the get-go, they are going to be pissed no matter what. So it's an interesting spot to be for Nvidia, and we'll have to see what decisions they make there. Speaking of these supercards, there has been another leak by another person with some actual details for one of the cards that supposedly are in the works and coming out. It is regarding the 3060 Super or 3060 Ti, whatever they name it. It points towards 4864 CUDA cores, 8 gigs of GDDR6 VRAM, and well, it would be somewhere slotted between the 3060 and 3070. The leaker in question has provided accurate information in the past, but as always, remain skeptical because this is completely unconfirmed, and the card could just never really be released, or be released with completely different numbers, obviously. Now, this has been it for the news in Tech for the week. Obviously, graphics cards are the major talking point right now. We are expecting a flood of reviews and information or whatever in the next week or two. Obviously, I would love to do some reviews on them, but obviously we don't have early access to that sort of thing or anything like that, and even in the future it's going to be difficult to get hands on multiple models of them to compare or something. So that's the disadvantage of being a small channel, and that's something that I hope will change as we grow, and that we can actually do more and better content for you guys. And so yeah, that's why I always ask, hit that subscribe button, because that's what we really need to grow and get the ball rolling to be able to do that. So I hope I'll see you guys in the next video, and in the meantime, as always, have fun.